Everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is the Stable Lad. Hope you're having a lovely start to your week. This week I wanted to start the week by just kind of looking at and thinking about going back on Ethereum Mainnet. So it's something I mentioned, I think, in last week's video, and I mentioned it on my Substack as well. I added this nice little nifty video from Finematics on my Substack, and if you haven't seen this, this is a great little under 2 minute explainer of what the Fusaka update was. It's really 13 EIPs in one, and essentially what it does is it just helps prepare Ethereum for massive scale. And it's there's so much going on with Ethereum. There's so much building happening behind the scenes, and if you're not really kind of paying attention, you may sort of think the chain is dead and it's pointless to use and all that kind of stuff, but it's really not. There's so much happening over on Ethereum that it's completely and totally worth just watching and monitoring this chain. Let me turn the volume down on this while it plays here. But essentially, Ethereum has been planning for years of all this kind of growth stuff, and more is coming with all the ZK updates. Vitalik just today mentioned maybe someone launching a futures market for gas fees, and so like basically to summarize it all, the TLDR is that Ethereum just got a little bit faster and a little bit cheaper. It's helping their L2s, so all the layer 2s, it helps them prioritize and being able to sort of plan their blob and gas fees better. And at the same time, it's also helped Ethereum lower its fees. Here, let's take a look here. This is what it was last week when I reported. I've never seen it so low at like 0.032 Gwei for a basic transaction, which was under 1 penny. It's basically what the L2s have been on Ethereum, but this is on Ethereum Mainnet. I mentioned on that video, or excuse me, in that Substack, that I was just going to watch it over a week and just sort of see what happens, see how it levels out. We are seeing the gas fees jump, so it went from that 0.03 to 0.32 already, and it's jumping a lot. But as you can see, the fees are actually staying really low. So it was at 0.01 for gas fees, and now it's 0.02 cents, which is still plenty inexpensive. As you can see here, it's 29 cents per swap, 0.24 for borrow, 50 cents for an NFT sale, and bridging to different blockchains is 10 cents a transaction, and these are the sort of average prices. So what does this mean for us as stablecoin investors? It means that I've avoided Ethereum during the sort of, let's call it the bull market, or just the increase in sort of market activity, because it just became too expensive to use the blockchain. And when you have to pay these fees and they start creeping up to $1, $2, $3, they just completely eat into any APY that you're going to get if you have a small size portfolio. And the portfolio that I share here publicly on this channel is a smaller portfolio. So I didn't want to put any of that onto the Ethereum Mainnet. I have one position that I've kept on Ethereum Mainnet, which is basically an Aave position. It's over here, this Aave position. It's a savings account for Go that earns 6.8%. It's a really small position, and I just kept it over there because, like, who cares, right? But now that we're seeing gas fees come down and paying 0.02% or 0.02, so 2 pennies basically for a transaction, that's looking a little bit better, but they're still high, right? So swaps are 40 cents, NFT sales 67 cents, bridging 13. So these are average that we're seeing here. These are the low, these are the average prices. I'm going to continue to watch this, but it's starting to look a little bit like Ethereum Mainnet might be a place that we want to put, at least I want to put some of my portfolio. Now, why do I want to do that? What's the point of that? We could take a look at DeFi TVL, and we can see that the TVL over here on Ethereum is 70 billion, right? The next closest here is 8 billion over here on Solana, which, by the way, I will point out and just sort of add here that Solana has grown. It used to be that Base, Arbitrum were higher than Solana, but Solana's DeFi has grown tremendously, and I think it's just sort of like broadly just shows that the adoption of the Solana blockchain is real, that people are using the chain for more things than just memes. And I think it speaks to the longevity of the chain in general. And it makes me happier to sort of start to think about DeFi positions over on Solana, because I think this is really just the beginning for Solana. I think people are using the chain and they're there to stay. So I am going to start, as I've mentioned in the last couple of videos, I am going to start looking a little bit more on what's going on with Solana. Some of their DeFi is still really young, and so therefore it's higher risk for me, which means that I can't put up too much money over there. But there's some decent stuff over there, like Camino, Drift, and some of the other DeFi protocols over on Solana that are interesting. But let's move back to Ethereum and just sort of show, like, we've got 70 billion here, so we've got really deep DeFi TVL. It's the deepest of all the chains. That generally means we're going to have more optionality in terms of where we can put our money, where I can put my money for the stablecoin portfolio over here, the StableLad portfolio that I share with you. And so let's just kind of like glance over here and take a look at some of these things that are available. I'm not with most things, I don't, I'm not endorsing any of these. Most of these I haven't even reviewed, I haven't looked at, I haven't done a deep dive on. These are not investments that are pending in any way. I'm just sort of pointing out what I'm seeing over here and what looks really interesting.
Let's take a quick pause. If you'd like a simple reference guide that shows you how I think about building a stablecoin portfolio, from risk tiers to position sizing, and even how insurance fits in, I put together a free guide you can download. It's the same framework that I use myself, designed to keep things steady and easy to follow at a glance. The link's right below this video. Grab the guide, and while you're there, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the weekly updates I share on how I'm adjusting my own portfolio. All right, let's get back to it.
Interesting. So Merkle, we got USP. I haven't even investigated USP, but we got $5.3 million in this TVL in this, and it's paying 67%. Doesn't look too bad for me. We got, I would mention this, but I think this is a deprecated vault for Curve. I'm pretty sure this is deprecated and just showing here. Oh, here. Yeah, Iron Bank here. It's deprecated. So you can see here, Iron Bank protocol is deprecated. So this is an old protocol. They're just still showing on here. So let's take a look at some more here. Convex. We'll just take a look at what we got over here on Convex here. So we've got some interesting things going on Convex. And these are all on mainnet here. Let's take a look. We want to look at stuff that's got some value in the pool. So here, MUSD and Frax BP, MUSD and staked USD paying 14%. So yeah, we've got some interesting pools over here on Frax. Let's take a look at markets over here on Pendle, some fixed markets. That 10,000, yeah, I don't know about that. Let's see. I don't know what this is. Oh, 2 days. That's why it's so high. But yeah, we got more normal stuff here. 13.87%, 12.49% on some of these pools. Make it. This is a syrup pool at 9.86%. So you got some interesting stuff going over here on Pendle with their fixed pools. 27%. Again, I haven't looked at any of these things, but you can just see like these are deep markets here. Almost $1 million in here, a little over $1 million here. These are not small markets that have really interesting APYs on them that just kind of taking a look at, right? P-pods here, 4.13 million, paying 47%. I don't know if that's really accurate. We can go over to P-pods here. Here's a vault that's got 500,000 paying 19.2%. It's just a USDC vault over on P-pods. That's just their lending. I think you can farm volatility for a bunch more. This is probably what it's talking about here. Some of these like 40% here. And I haven't even looked into any of these things. But again, just showing you kind of how deep things are over here on the main net here. If we take a look at Merkle's, I don't know too much about Merkle and how they evaluate these pools and such. But it's just really interesting to kind of look at and just to sort of see what percentages here. We've got things that are really, really high over here, 50-60% on Merkle pools here. What was it? I've not gone into these deeply, so I'm not vouching for any of these things. I'm not putting any of these things in my own investments. Again, just sort of broadly looking at what's available over here on the Ethereum mainnet. Not to get too deep here, but like there's, as you can see here, like if we can just scroll down, like there are tons of pools here, almost $1 million here, 27%. Again, I don't know how real these are. I haven't looked in these yet, but just something that I've been thinking about doing and noticing here. $500,000 over here, 25%. SD Pendle, StakeDAO, 4.68%. And we could look at StakeDAO. Let's take a look at what's on StakeDAO right here. Here's some pools on StakeDAO. Dang, this one's a tiny pool, so I wouldn't put money in this one. You only got $151 in this pool, but again, like just taking a look at what's available here, almost $1 million in this one, paying 41% boost, 1.44x boost here. Okay, that's interesting. Right, we've got, let's see, let's go down here. This is a pool that I've been in for a while here. LUSD and USDC paying 20% right now. Frax USD and USDP almost $500,000 in here, paying 20%. So look at these. I mean, these are serious pools here, and things to take a look at on Ethereum Mainnet that aren't tiny and little here. So things I've been thinking about just overall in general, if these GUI prices stay down, and you can see like we just saw it was higher right now, right? Now it just popped down from 0.34 to 0.28. If these can sort of settle out and we see them remain low, and swap fees and swap prices can actually stay pretty low, it may make sense to put some money back over onto Ethereum Mainnet and take advantage of that deep DeFi that we see here on Ethereum, 70-something billion dollars on Ethereum. And I can imagine too that if I'm looking at this trend, that many other people are looking at this trend as well. We see here, Suhail here talks about Ethereum has scaled so hard and reduced gas fees so much that I no longer use L2s. Right. So if this remains and people like Suhail come over and start using Mainnet, I'm not going to be the only one. He's not going to be the only one. There's going to be many people that use it. And when that happens, we'll see a surge in DeFi TVL. Builders will start coming back over here and building out more products on TVL or more offerings on TVL, more offerings on DeFi, and APYs will likely grow. And you'll have just a deeper, more richer playground to play in from a stablecoin investing perspective. And it just may make sense to move some cash over here, find some low risk positions that I could just set and forget it in, and not even touch, and then find some other positions that I can maybe play around with as these DeFi pools begin to deepen and APYs maybe potentially grow over there. So just something I'm paying attention to. It's only been a week since, less than a week since Fusaka launched, and I think Fusaka launched on the 3rd, and so I'm going to watch this for another week or two, and I'll report to you next week or the week after on what I'm thinking. I might start thinking about putting some money over here. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. This is not going to be a massive, we're not talking about macro. We're not going to talk about the news too much. We're talking about just some massive upgrade that sort of happened really quietly over on Ethereum. More is coming for Ethereum. And so I could definitely see the potential for DeFi to start to grow massively over on Ethereum. And if it does, you can expect the StableLad portfolio to start growing a little bit of our portfolio back over there on Mainnet, because the OG is worth spending some time on when fees come down low enough to justify the move. So until next time, hope you have a wonderful week. Hope this has been interesting for you. And again, if you like this channel, please subscribe, like it, share it. Please send your comments on things that you'd like me to cover. Any questions, comments, things that you'd like me to look at, I'm happy to do so. And also, if you want deeper dives into my actual portfolio, my actual moves, the holdings that I have, that's over on my Substack, which I'll link to in the show notes. And until next time, stay stable, my friends. Have a great week. I'm the StableLad. And if you like today's video, please hit that subscribe button. Every week I break down what's happening in the world of stablecoins and why it matters, clearly, calmly, and without the hype. This channel is for educational purposes. It is not meant to be financial advice. So always do your own research and manage your risk wisely.